Good afternoon, everyone. Today, Dhruv is standing in front of you to deal with a topic. The name of the story is The Diary of an Anne Frank. This the story goes behind the early years of the World War II. In this, there is a Germany in which the Nazi rule is happening. Nazi is equals to that of an Hitler. Hitler was a dramatic ruler. Happening over here is that there was a family of Anne Frank. Anne Frank includes the family what grandmother, her father, her mother, and her beautiful sister. So over here, the Nazi was a dramatic ruler, taking over the properties and doing and badly things in the Germany. So they were living in the Netherlands. Netherlands is a place where they were hiding from the Nazi. So here the story begins with the World War II. They were living in the Netherlands in 1942. Her grandmother died. So in 1944 they were captured and they were immigrated to the concentration camps, and they were finally died in concentration camps by the Hitler or by the workers of the Hitler. So her father left and three of them died. Her grandmother died on in 1942 only, and 1944 and 1946, this gap between the 2 years, they also died. So here the 13th birthday of the Anne Frank, they get to call her father presented her a Kronkoils and a diary, and diary was in becomes a true friend of the Anne Frank. So here the story was about the Anne Frank's life, and the returns or the sentences or the story that was being written or the mentioned in the diary. So story begins with just a few brief statement or brief sketch of the Anne Frank. Later on, about the 20th June of 1942, when the diary entry begins of her school, we'll see later. So for example, over here, her diary entry begins. Later in the at the last we'll sing that firstly starting the topic with her home. So firstly, the diary was given to her, and just she was thinking that who will be reading my diary or who will be dealing with these topics relating to my diary. She was just misused, yeah, she was just misused and not any ready to deal with these topics. So here the story begins. So here the story begins that so here the story begins. Firstly, so over here, firstly dealing with the topic that is, she was just thinking who will be reading my diary, and later on what will be thinking. She thinks that who will be reading my diary and who will have an interest to read my diary of musings of an 13-year-old girl. So over here the firstly begins that she thinks about the later on the going back to his moments when she was with her friends and doing very little bit things, and she was very happy. And here one day she was sitting at her home and just chin her hands and doing little bit things, and she was thinking just to let her to go out or not, and finally she thinks that to stay in and doing the little bit things. So she started that to write the diary. So over here she thinks that no one will be reading my diary until I get a true friend. So getting a true friend, this process going on, and finally at the last will be ending that he get a true friend, that is a diary only, and named her as Kitty. So firstly reading about the family of her, he has a loving aunt, her family, her 6-year-old sister, that is the name is Margot, her father Ottoman Frank, her mother that is Edith Hollander Frank, and her grandmother, and her name was Anne Frank. So this was the story, and she decides that, and she thinks about her when she was with her friends, doing little bit things, doing with her very happy moments, and many more things that she deals with in the topic in his diary. So over here this diary, how do we get this diary? So this diary is being get by her father when she was alive, and all the rest of the family was died. She get her father get this diary and then published in the Germany publications, and or in any more, yeah. So firstly, she had loving aunts, her two parents, her mother and father. She was living a happy life with her. She has everything present in her with her, but nothing has an. But seems to be missing was that a true friend. Later on, it becomes a kitty that her true friend was a diary that we will be reading later on. So firstly, over here, she thinks that she confide of each other. Confide of each other means the friends of the Anne Frank was confide of each other. Here confide means telling the privately things to personally, or the to telling the things to whom you trust more. So here they confide of each other, and the little bit things she deals with in the story. So lastly she tells that my true friend was nothing but an kitty. That was the diary in which she writes. She want to get all the things out of chest of the diary. So over here, she told that. So she had a loving aunt and other. Her family was being living in the Netherlands. So she told that when she was a 4, until that she was living in the state was that 1 second. She was living in the Frankfurt. Yeah, she was living in the Frankfurt until she was of 4. Her father was an adorable father. Why she told that the same statement over here? Because her father didn't marry her mother until he was of 36, and her mother as well of 25. So she was living in the Frankfurt until she was of 4, and her sister name was of Margot. Margot was born in 1926, and Anna Frank born in 12th June of 1942. So over here, her father emigrated to Holland, and her mother, that is Edith Hollander Frank. Name of her mother was Edith Hollander Frank. Followed in the December as well. Yeah. So the both of them, Anna Frank and Margot, were being sent to the Aachen. Were sent to the Aachen, where they were both living with her grandmother. So Aachen was a place where she both were living. Her mother went to the Holland, emigrated to the Holland with her father in the September, and in the December, Margot went to the Holland. Means Margot also emigrated to Holland, and same in the February, Anne Frank was also emigrated to Holland by her grandmother. So Anne Frank was being presented on the table as a birthday gift of Margot. So over here we get information that in the February month of 1929, the birth of the Margot could take place. It couldn't mention in the textbook, but I think so, and I could refer you as well. So over here, this was the story was given in the textbook. So in 1942, her grandmother got ill. Her grandmother got ill, and finally in the 1942, they died. It had an operation as well with her grandmother. So over here, in the 4 of them, her 2 sisters and her 2 parents were. Rest of them were alive and having a good work. So over here, from there, 20th June of 1942, the story begins with her diary entry, and the diary entry is of 20th June 1942 and Saturday. So over here, firstly, dealing with the classroom. Yeah, the entire classroom was in the quacking in boards. Quacking in boards means here over here is the all were in the sincere, all were sincere, all were sitting in a silence way, because the fourth meeting was being going on. Fourth meeting was going on over here, and all the teachers were being staffing in the staff room. Yeah, staffing in the staff room, deciding who will be proceeding to the next or who will be not. So over here all were silent, and the Margot and the her friend, which was being sitting in the GN, both of them were laughing at each other. Why they were laughing? Because the 2 friends of her sitting behind them were just stake their holidays savings on the bed, and they were just sincerely doing. They were just telling that I will be proceeding to next. Then Margot says, no, I will not. And Frank said, yes, I will. So this was the conversations then going on between them, because the fourth meeting has nothing been ended. The fourth meeting means that over here the teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on this earth. They can't be predicted. Over here, they can't be predicted means the people here can be proceed a particular child to next class or not. That depends on the teacher, particular mind of the teacher, and particular dependency or the resistivity of that particular teacher. So over here the fourth process was going on of the fourth meeting, and her teacher name was firstly an information that I want to give you, that in the 6th class, until of which she was of 4, they were living in the Frankfurt. And until she was of 6th, his 6th form was being completed in the Montessori nursery, which was in the Frankfurt, which was in the Holland only. They both were in the Holland. So over here, the headmistress name of the headmistress name was the Putreksu. Putreksu was the name of the headmistress when she both were in the 6th form. Means Anne Frank was in the 6th form. Her sister was 3 years older than him, so might be in the 9th class. So in the 6th form, they were be treated as the headmistress, and they were treated as such a way that both of the eyes were tearful. were tearful because of the unpredictable and untruthful farewell of that school. So sixth form was completed in the Montessori nursery, and after that they were being completing or dealing with the topics of maths. Yeah, over here just all of them giving the hopes that don't lose heart, don't lose heart, and don't lose heart. The hopes were being given to each other. Then don't lose heart, we'll be proceeding to later, and no one will be in the staying later. So here Van Frank also told that there was a quarter of dummies or the or a half circle of the my class was in the dummies. All of them were suddenly get dummies and they were being proceeded to back only. They were not proceeded again in the next class. So over here the situation is that the her friends of the Anne Frank were not just dealing with the topics of the other subject, but Anne Frank was dealing with a topic that is the maths. Maths over here was being taken by the teacher. The name of the teacher was that teacher was the maths teacher. The teacher was the maths teacher. The name of the teacher was Kezing. The maths teacher was being taken. Maths was taken by the teacher Kezing. The most unpredictable or the most hard subject that was being predicted by the Anne Frank was the maths. That he don't love maths or she find any confusion type in the maths. So Kezing was the teacher of the maths, and she always do an arguments with the Anne Frank. Why do the arguments was being given in the diary entry? Because she was having habit of talking, or inherited trait of talking. Inherited means the abilities or the personalities that are being diverted to the parents to the next generation. Inherited trait means the abilities that are being transferred from the parent to the next generation. So over here the inherited trait of the Anne Frank was inherited by her mother, and she has a little bit habit of talking continuously and proceeding her talking in such a way that the arguments could take place. So over here the Anne Frank teacher was the Kezing maths teacher was doing an argument with her, and she was giving an extraordinary task to her that write an essay on the chatterbox. The first topic which was being given by the Mr. Kezing was chatterbox. Chatterbox was the topic given by the Kezing to Anne Frank. Okay, so over here firstly the homework of the Anne Frank was completed, and finally she was having a free time at her home. She finds that that little bit topic was being written at the school only about the chatterbox. Her eye caught that topic in a simple way that she could ramble the things in a way. She told that I couldn't ramble the things that the other peoples do. I want to do anything that the sir or the arguments of the teacher could be convinced. So over here he want to write an essay in a such a way that the arguments that were being given by the teachers could be convinced, or she want to prove that talking is necessary by the student. So over here she writes an essay of the 3 pages and sent to the teacher, and also argued that I have an inherited trait and you can't blame me on this. You can't blame me, I couldn't cure myself as well, sir. So this argument was being listened by the Mr. Kezing, and she also laughed at her, and she was also being transferred to the next classes and just doing and laughing things with the students. Mr. Kezing was a teacher of truthful workaholic as well, and just enjoyable teacher, because she do the learning with enjoyment. So over here the Mr. Anne Frank continues his talking and proceeds talking to later. So the teacher Kezing also do that. The second task was being given as well to the incorrigible chatterbox. The second topic, remember that, incorrigible chatterbox, given by the Kezing to Anne Frank over here. So firstly we are doing that. If a second topic is incorrigible chatterbox. Chatterbox means the person who continuously talks on aimlessly doing a personal thing. And the second meaning is incorrigible. Incorrigible means the thing which could not be corrected. That mean is the incorrigible. So incorrigible meaning is that could not be corrected, and the topic was given by the Kezing to the Anne Frank was incorrigible chatterbox. Means your chatting could not be corrected. Means the chatting could not be corrected by yours. So over here the teacher said that quack quack quack, said Mr. Chatterbox. quack quack quack, said Mr. Chatterbox. So firstly, the second topic was also given. The Anne Frank was confused and confused and confused. She want to come up with the arguments, come up with the arguments, and come up with the arguments. She don't want to deal with this continuously moving out the talking and just giving punishment and punishment. So she finds that her friend Sani, her friend name was Sani. He is good at poetry. She is good at poetry. So she finds her help as a need of the convincing to convince her teacher. So over here, firstly doing Anne Frank went to the Sane and tell that I want to write in poem. If she helped her to write a poem, that I could convince my teacher with my arguments and my talking. So Sane also writes in poem. The poem was of that a very beautiful poem was being given by the Sane. The poem was, there was one duck and one swag. There were two swag and one duck, and there were three ducklings. Three ducklings, and her father didn't like the ducklings quack 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 sound, so they murdered her, or they killed the ducklings of her. And this was the story that was being later on transferred to the Mr. Kazing. Mr. Kazing also read the story, and Mr. Kazing reaction was just untruthful. Means it cannot be treated as a way, as a legal way. He was just silent as he read this poem. So here the teacher said that teacher was silent, and the reaction of the teacher shows that she never argued with the Anne Frank on this later on topic. So he write this story in a legal way, and he deal with the topic in such a way that all the arguments of the Anne Frank were being convinced later on. In the future, no argument or no punishment was given to the Anne Frank related to talking of the Anne Frank. So this was the story or the Diary Frank, which was being written at the 20th June of 1942 on the Saturday by the Anne Frank. So this was the story, and we have covered the whole chapter. If any query or the inquiry, you can write in the comment box as well. So firstly, her name was Anne Frank. Her sister name was Margot Frank. Her mother name was Edith Hollander Frank. Her father name was Ottoman Frank. Her mother and grandmother name was not mentioned in the chapter, so I couldn't deal with that. So over here, her name was Anne Frank, that I told already, and she borns on 12th June of 1929, and her sister born on 1926. Her headmistress of the Montessori nursery was the Putreksu, and the name of the teacher of the maths teacher was dealing with in the 6th form was that of Kazing. So this was the names and the full details of in brief, as a brief sketch we have read about the Anne Frank. So hope you all guys are reading with this chapter, and hope you will have understood this chapter. If not, then write in the comment box, or my speaking is little bit faster, then I could explain it again in the next videos. If you want to like, and want to share, and want to subscribe. It doesn't matter. So you just want the information from this chapter, and if any doubt, just comment on the comment box and writes in a little way, writes in a short way. I could answer you. So for example, if you write a name of the argument. So over here, thanks to teacher Lalit sir to give this me task. Thank you.